She pretended to be confused while they stole everything. Then, she struck back. The rain hammers against my windshield as I pull into the parking lot of Grandma Rose's law firm. My hands shake as I grip the steering wheel, the letter crumpled in my passenger seat. Final reading of the will. Your presence is required. 3 months since Grandma Rose passed, and I still can't believe she's gone. The woman who raised me after my mother died when I was 8, who taught me to stand tall when the world tried to knock me down. The woman who promised me everything would be okay. I should have known better. My phone buzzes with a text from my stepbrother Kyle. Running late. Dad says don't start without us. The audacity of these people never ceases to amaze me. Even now, they're treating this like some casual family gathering instead of the formal legal proceeding it is. I check my reflection in the rearview mirror. My brown hair is pulled back in a simple ponytail. My black dress is from Target, and my shoes are 3 years old. I look exactly like what I am, a 28-year-old social worker who lives paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, my stepfamily will arrive in designer clothes and luxury cars, paid for with money that should have been Grandma Rose's. The elevator to the 3rd floor feels like a coffin, each floor counting down to my doom. When the doors open, I see them. My stepfamily, clustered together like vultures around fresh roadkill. My stepfather, Richard, adjusts his expensive Rolex and whispers something to his daughter, Melissa. She throws back her head and laughs, her designer heels clicking against the marble floor. At 26, Melissa has never worked a day in her life, yet somehow always has money for shopping sprees and spa treatments. Beside them, my stepbrother Kyle scrolls through his phone, probably checking his cryptocurrency investments. At 24, he's already declared bankruptcy twice, but Richard always bails him out. None of them acknowledge me. Why would they? I'm just the charity case Richard inherited when he married my mother 12 years ago. The awkward stepdaughter who never quite fit into their perfect family portrait. Emma Sullivan. The receptionist's voice cuts through my thoughts. Mr. Hartwell will see you now. The conference room smells like leather and broken dreams. Mr. Hartwell, Grandma Rose's attorney for 30 years, looks older than I remember. His usually pristine suit is wrinkled, his eyes tired behind wire-rimmed glasses. He's been avoiding my calls for weeks, which should have been my first warning sign. Thank you all for coming. He begins, his voice strained. Before we begin, I must address some irregularities that have come to light. My stomach drops. Richard leans forward, his expression predatory. I've seen that look before. It's the same one he wore when he convinced my mother to sign over her life insurance policy to him for safekeeping. What kind of irregularities? Melissa demands, her voice sharp. Her perfectly manicured nails drum against the polished table. Mr. Hartwell opens a thick file with hands that shake slightly. Mrs. Rose Sullivan's will was altered 3 weeks before her death. The original will, which I have here, left everything to Emma. The house, the investments, the family business, everything. The room spins. I grip the arms of my chair, trying to process his words. Everything? But that can't be right. Grandma Rose had always talked about providing for the whole family. That's impossible, Kyle says, but his voice wavers. He sets down his phone for the first time since entering the room. The new will, Mr. Hartwell continues, pulling out another document, divides everything equally among all 4 of you, with Richard as executor. However, I've discovered that Mrs. Sullivan was coerced into making these changes. Richard stands abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. That's a serious accusation, Mr. Hartwell. I hope you have proof before you go around slandering my character. It's not an accusation, it's fact. Mr. Hartwell slides a folder across the table to me. Emma, your grandmother left specific instructions. She suspected something might happen. With trembling fingers, I open the folder. Inside are photographs, documents, and a sealed envelope with my name written in Grandma Rose's careful handwriting, the same handwriting that filled birthday cards and encouraging notes throughout my childhood. The first photograph makes my blood run cold. It shows Richard and Melissa in Grandma Rose's kitchen, papers spread across the table. Her medicine bottles are clearly visible, along with what appears to be additional pills scattered beside them. The timestamp shows this was taken at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday night. She was drugging her, I whisper, the pieces falling into place. All those times in the last few months when Grandma Rose seemed confused, disoriented. The times she'd call me crying, saying she couldn't remember things. We all thought it was just age. Maybe the beginning of dementia. The second photograph shows Kyle removing files from Grandma Rose's home office while she slept in her chair, clearly unconscious. Her head is tilted at an unnatural angle, and there's a water glass on the side table that wasn't there when I'd visited earlier that day. How did she? I start to ask. Your grandmother had security cameras installed after she fell last year, Mr. Hartwell explains. She gave me access to the footage weeks before she died, along with these instructions. She was a very smart woman, Emma. Smarter than any of us gave her credit for. I tear open the envelope with shaking hands. Grandma Rose's voice seems to echo from the pages. My dearest Emma, if you're reading this, then I was right to be suspicious. I've been feeling foggy, confused, not like myself. At first, I thought it was age, but then I started paying attention. Richard has been adding something to my evening tea. I found the pills hidden in his coat pocket. Anxiety medication that isn't prescribed to me. I know what they're planning. I've heard them whispering about my will, about how much the house is worth, how my business should be properly managed. They think I'm too old, too weak to understand. Last week, I pretended to be asleep when they came to visit. I heard Melissa say, once the old bat is gone, we can finally live the life we deserve. Kyle laughed and said, the sooner the better. They're wrong about me being weak, Emma. I may be 84, but I still have all my wits about me when I'm not being drugged. I've documented everything. The evidence is in my safety deposit box at First National Bank, box 247. The key is taped under the third drawer of my jewelry box, the one you helped me organize last Christmas. Remember how we laughed about my treasure box and all the memories inside? I've also moved some things to a storage unit for safekeeping. They've been taking items from the house, things they think I won't notice, but I notice everything. Fight for what's yours, Emma. You're stronger than they know. You're stronger than you know. You have your mother's heart and your grandfather's determination. Use both. I love you more than words can say. You were the daughter I never had and the granddaughter I always dreamed of. Don't let them take what belongs to you. Yeah, all my love. Grandma Rose. P.S. Check the third floorboard from the window in the attic. I left something there for you. The letter falls from my numb fingers. Richard's face has gone pale beneath his fake tan. This is fabricated, he says, but his voice lacks conviction. A sick old woman's paranoid fantasies. The bank records show large cash withdrawals from Mrs. Sullivan's account during the weeks in question. Mr. Hartwell continues, pulling out more documents. Withdrawals she claimed to have no memory of making. $50,000 in total over 6 weeks. The pharmacy records show someone picking up prescriptions under her insurance that were never prescribed to her. He slides a pharmacy printout across the table. Lorazepam, picked up by Richard Sullivan using Rose Sullivan's insurance card, enough to keep someone sedated for months. Melissa starts crying, but they're not tears of grief. They're tears of panic. Her mascara runs in black streaks down her cheeks, ruining her perfect makeup. We were helping her, she sobs. She was so confused, so scared. We were just trying to make things easier for everyone. By drugging her and stealing her money? The words explode from my lips. By manipulating a sick elderly woman? Kyle jumps up, his face flushed with anger. You can't prove anything, this is all circumstantial. Mr. Hartwell slides another document across the table. Actually, we can. Mrs. Sullivan had blood tests done secretly at Dr. Morrison's clinic. She told him she suspected she was being poisoned. The results show significant levels of benzodiazepines, drugs she was never prescribed. He produces a medical report with official letterhead. Dr. Morrison has been treating your grandmother for 15 years. He knew immediately that something was wrong when she came to him, confused and disoriented. He ran a full toxicology panel without telling anyone. The room falls silent except for the sound of rain against the windows and Melissa's quiet sobbing. There's more, Mr. Hartwell continues. Mrs. Sullivan also recorded several conversations on her phone. Would you like to hear them? He pulls out an old smartphone, Grandma Rose's phone that I'd helped her learn to use last year. No, Richard says quickly. That's not necessary. But Mr. Hartwell has already pressed play. Grandma Rose's voice fills the room, weak, but determined. It's Tuesday, March 15th. Richard is here again, insisting I need to change my will. He says Emma can't handle the responsibility, that she's too young, too unstable. He's been saying this for weeks now. I told him no again, but he keeps pushing. He's made my tea, and I can see him watching me drink it. My hands are already starting to shake. The recording continues with Richard's voice in the background, calm and persuasive. Rose, you know I only want what's best for everyone. Emma's a nice girl, but she's struggling financially. This kind of responsibility would overwhelm her. And think about my children. They've been part of this family for 12 years now. Don't they deserve something? Grandma Rose's voice grows weaker. I don't know. I can't think straight. Everything feels fuzzy. That's because you're tired, Rose. You've been working so hard, worrying so much. Why don't you just rest? We can talk about this tomorrow when you're feeling better. The recording ends. The silence in the room is deafening. The original will stands, Mr. Hartwell announces, his voice firm. Emma, everything belongs to you. The house, the business, all investments and bank accounts. However, there's the matter of what was already taken. He hands me another folder, this one even thicker than the first. Inside are bank statements, receipts, and more photographs. They've already transferred nearly $200,000 from your grandmother's accounts over the past 4 months, he explains. They've sold her jewelry, her antique furniture, even her car. They've been systematically bleeding her dry. The bank statements show a pattern of large withdrawals, always when I wasn't around to notice. $15,000 here, $25,000 there. The receipts show luxury purchases: a new BMW for Kyle, a designer handbag collection for Melissa, a boat for Richard. They spent my inheritance on toys, I whisper, staring at the evidence. Not just toys, Mr. Hartwell corrects. They also used the money to pay off Kyle's gambling debts and Melissa's credit cards. Your grandmother's life savings went to financing their irresponsible lifestyles. I stare at the evidence, my heart breaking for Grandma Rose. How scared she must have been. How helpless she must have felt. All those times she'd seemed confused or forgetful. She was being systematically poisoned by people she trusted. I want them arrested, I say quietly. Emma, please, Richard begs, dropping his facade of innocence. We're family. We can work this out privately. Family? I stand, my chair scraping against the floor. Family doesn't drug elderly women and steal their life savings. Family doesn't manipulate and abuse people who trust them. I think about all the times Richard dismissed my concerns about Grandma Rose's health, all the times he insisted he was handling everything so I didn't need to worry. Meanwhile, he was orchestrating her decline. We took care of her, Melissa protests through her tears. We visited her every day. You visited her to drug her and steal from her, I correct. That's not taking care of someone, that's preying on them. I turn to Mr. Hartwell. What do I need to do? I've already contacted the district attorney's office. Detective Morrison is waiting to speak with you. But Emma... He pauses, his expression grave. This is going to get ugly. They'll fight this with everything they have. They'll try to paint you as vindictive, as someone who manipulated a sick old woman against her family. Let them try. Richard's mask slips completely. You ungrateful little bitch. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? Everything you've done for me? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. You mean like making me feel unwelcome in my own home for 12 years? Like constantly reminding me that I was charity case? Like excluding me from family photos and vacations? Kyle steps forward, his hands clenched into fists. You always thought you were better than us. I never thought I was better than anyone. I just thought I deserved basic respect and decency. You'll never be able to prove any of this, Melissa says, wiping her tears and pulling herself together. It's the word of a dead woman against living family members. Actually, Mr. Hartwell interjects, your grandmother was very thorough. She documented everything, including video recordings. He pulls out a tablet and shows us security footage from inside Grandma Rose's house. The timestamp shows it's from 2 weeks before she died. In the video, Richard is clearly visible crushing pills and stirring them into a cup of tea. She had cameras installed throughout the house, Mr. Hartwell explains, motion activated, with audio recording. She has hours of footage showing all of you discussing how to handle the Rose situation, as you called it. Richard's face goes white. This is entrapment. This is evidence of elder abuse and theft, Mr. Hartwell corrects. And there's more. He shows us another video, this one showing Kyle going through Grandma Rose's jewelry box while she slept in her chair. He pockets several pieces, including her wedding ring and a diamond necklace that had belonged to her mother. Where are those pieces now? Mr. Hartwell asks. Kyle says nothing, but his guilty expression tells the whole story. 2 hours later, I sit across from Detective Morrison in the police station. She's a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. The evidence is spread across the table between us like pieces of a horrific puzzle. This is one of the most thorough cases of elder abuse documentation I've ever seen, she says, shaking her head. Your grandmother was incredibly smart to protect herself this way. She was the smartest woman I knew, I reply, wiping tears from my eyes. She raised me after my mother died. She taught me everything about standing up for myself, about being independent and strong. She clearly loved you very much, Detective Morrison says gently. These recordings, the hidden cameras, the secret blood tests, she went to extraordinary lengths to protect you and expose what they were doing. She flips through the pharmacy records. The amount of drugs they were giving her could have killed her. In fact, it probably contributed to her death. We'll need to order an autopsy. The thought of Grandma Rose's body being disturbed makes me sick, but I know it's necessary. We'll need you to press charges, Detective Morrison explains. Given the amount of money involved and the vulnerable victim status, this is a felony case. We're talking about elder abuse, theft, fraud, and possibly manslaughter. I don't hesitate. Yes, I want them to pay for what they did to her. This won't be easy, she warns. They'll hire expensive lawyers. They'll try to discredit you and your grandmother. They'll claim she was suffering from dementia and that you manipulated her. I'm ready for whatever they throw at me. That evening, I drive to Grandma Rose's house, my house now. The key still fits the lock, though Richard had the audacity to change the security codes last month, claiming it was for security purposes. Inside, the house feels empty, stripped. They've taken so much already: the antique dining set that had been in our family for generations, the Persian rugs Grandma Rose had collected during her travels, even the family photographs. Only the furniture, too heavy to move, quickly remains. I walk through each room, remembering. The kitchen where Grandma Rose taught me to make her famous apple pie. The living room where we'd sit together watching old movies on Sunday afternoons. The sun porch where she'd read to me when I was little, her voice bringing fairy tales to life. Now it all feels hollow, violated. They've taken more than just objects. They've stolen the warmth and memories that made this house a home. I make my way to Grandma Rose's bedroom and find her jewelry box, the one we'd organized together last Christmas. My hands shake as I feel under the third drawer. The key is there, just as she said it would be. taped to the wood with surgical precision. But first, I need to check the attic. Grandma Rose's note mentioned something hidden in the floorboards. The attic stairs creak under my weight as I climb up with a flashlight. The space smells of old wood and memories. I count 3 floorboards from the window and find that one is slightly loose. When I pry it up, I discover a metal box hidden underneath. Inside the box are more documents, but also something else, a thick envelope marked for Emma's future. Inside are bonds and certificates worth $500,000, money that Richard and his children never knew existed. There's also a letter. Emma, if you're reading this, then you've found my secret savings. I've been setting aside money for years, preparing for the day when you might need it. This is clean money, earned from my business and investments, hidden from those who would steal it. Use this to fight them. Use it to build the life you deserve. Use it to help others the way you've always helped me. I know you'll do the right thing. Love always. Grandma Rose. I sit in the dusty attic, surrounded by boxes of Christmas decorations and old photo albums, and cry. Not just for Grandma Rose, but for the cruelty of what they did to her. She'd been planning for this, protecting me even as they were poisoning her. The next morning, I stand before Safety Deposit Box 247 at First National Bank. The manager, Mrs. Chen, looks nervous as she turns her key alongside mine. Mrs. Sullivan was very specific about this box, she says. Only you were authorized to access it. She came in several times over the past few months, adding things. Inside, I find a treasure trove of evidence. More photographs, audio recordings on old cassette tapes, and detailed journals documenting every suspicious incident over the past 6 months. But there's something else, a second key. This one labeled Storage Unit 89 Oak Street Storage. My hands shake as I drive to the storage facility. The manager, a friendly man named Bob, recognizes me immediately. You must be Emma, he says. Mrs. Sullivan talked about you all the time. Sweet lady. She was here quite a bit in the last few months, moving things into storage. Unit 89 is climate-controlled and expensive. When Bob opens the door, I gasp. Inside, I find everything they stole. The antique furniture, the jewelry, the Persian rugs, even Grandma Rose's car. Everything carefully cataloged and stored. A note in Grandma Rose's handwriting sits on top of her jewelry box. I moved everything here when I realized what they were planning. Let them think they won. The real victory comes later. I paid for this unit for 2 years in advance. Everything is yours now. Even in death, she was 3 steps ahead of them. I call Detective Morrison immediately. She outsmarted them, I explain, my voice filled with admiration. Everything they think they stole is right here. She moved it all to safety before they could take it. Brilliant woman, Detective Morrison replies. This makes our case airtight. They can't claim they were just helping her manage her affairs if she was secretly protecting her belongings from them. I spend the next hour cataloging everything with Detective Morrison and a crime scene photographer. Family heirlooms worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, as all preserved by a woman who knew exactly what her stepfamily was planning. The arrests happen the next day. I'm not there to see it, but Ellen, Grandma Rose's neighbor, calls me with updates. They came for Richard first, she reports with satisfaction. Right in the middle of his morning jog, he was wearing those ridiculous designer running shorts and one of those fitness trackers. Looked like he was going to be sick when they put the handcuffs on. What about the others? Melissa was at that fancy yoga studio downtown. Apparently, she made quite a scene screaming about how this was all a misunderstanding and demanding to call her lawyer. Kyle was harder to find. They finally got him at some casino in the city. He'd been there for 3 days straight, probably gambling away more money he didn't have. Good, I say simply. The local news picks up the story that evening. Elderly woman outsmarts family members who drugged and robbed her, reads the headline. The reporter, a serious-looking woman named Janet Martinez, stands outside the courthouse. In a shocking case of elder abuse, 84-year-old Rose Sullivan used hidden cameras and secret recordings to expose family members who were drugging her and stealing her life savings. The case has sent shockwaves through the community, where Mrs. Sullivan was known as a savvy businesswoman and beloved community member. They show photographs of Richard, Melissa, and Kyle being led away in handcuffs. Then they show a photo of me and Grandma Rose from last Christmas, both of us laughing as we decorated her tree. The victim's granddaughter, Emma Sullivan, will inherit the substantial estate that family members attempted to steal. In a twist worthy of a mystery novel, Mrs. Sullivan had secretly moved her most valuable possessions to a storage unit and documented months of abuse before her death. My phone starts ringing immediately. Reporters, distant relatives I haven't heard from in years, even a few lawyers offering their services. I ignore them all, except for one call from Dr. Morrison, Grandma Rose's doctor. "Emma, I want you to know how sorry I am," he says. "Your grandmother was such a remarkable woman. When she came to me with her suspicions, I thought she might be developing paranoia. I should have taken her more seriously from the beginning." "You did take her seriously," I remind him. "You ran the blood tests that proved she was being poisoned. She was so scared," he continues, "but also so determined. She said she had to protect you, that you were the only family she had left who truly loved her." After we hang up, I sit in Grandma Rose's kitchen, my kitchen now, and think about the past few days. It feels surreal, like I'm living in someone else's life. A week ago, I was a struggling social worker living in a tiny apartment. Now I'm the owner of a beautiful house, a successful business, and enough money to never worry about finances again. But the money isn't what matters most. What matters is that Grandma Rose trusted me enough to fight for me, even from beyond the grave. The preliminary hearing is held 2 weeks later. I sit in the front row of the courtroom, watching as Richard, Melissa, and Kyle are brought in wearing orange jumpsuits. They look smaller somehow, diminished without their expensive clothes and confident attitudes. Their lawyer, a slick-looking man named Harrison Wells, tries to paint them as concerned family members who were simply trying to help an elderly relative manage her affairs. "My clients were acting out of love and concern," he argues. "Mrs. Sullivan was showing signs of dementia and confusion. They were trying to protect her from making poor financial decisions." But Assistant District Attorney Sarah Chen is ready for this argument. She plays the audio recordings of Richard drugging Grandma Rose's tea, shows the video footage of them stealing from her house, and presents the medical evidence of systematic poisoning. "This wasn't love," she says firmly. "This was a calculated campaign of abuse designed to steal a vulnerable elderly woman's life savings. The defendants didn't just take money. They took her dignity, her peace of mind, and ultimately, her life." The judge, an elderly woman named Judge Patricia Wong, listens to everything with a stern expression. When the defense finishes their arguments, she speaks. "I've been on the bench for 25 years, she says. "I've seen many cases of elder abuse, but this is among the most calculated and cruel I've encountered. The evidence presented shows a systematic campaign of drugging and theft that lasted for months." She looks directly at Richard. "Mr. Sullivan, you were in a position of trust. You were supposed to protect Mrs. Sullivan, not prey upon her. Instead, you used your access to her home and her trust in you to systematically poison and rob her." Richard tries to speak, but Judge Wong cuts him off. The court finds sufficient evidence to proceed to trial on all charges. Bail is set at $500,000 each. None of them can make bail. They're remanded to custody until trial. The trial itself is swift and brutal. With Grandma Rose's evidence and the storage unit discovery, their defense crumbles completely. The prosecution presents witness after witness, bank employees who remember the suspicious transactions, pharmacy workers who noted the unusual prescriptions, neighbors who saw the family loading furniture into trucks in the middle of the night. Dr. Morrison testifies about Grandma Rose's secret blood tests and her fears about being poisoned. Mr. Hartwell explains how she came to him with her suspicions and her detailed plans to protect her estate. But the most damning evidence is Grandma Rose's own words. The prosecutor plays hour after hour of recordings, showing the systematic way they wore down her resistance and made her doubt her own judgment. In one particularly heartbreaking recording, Grandma Rose sounds confused and frightened. "I don't understand why I keep forgetting things. Richard says I'm getting old, that I need help making decisions. Maybe he's right. Maybe I can't trust myself anymore." The jury deliberates for less than 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Richard is sentenced to 8 years for elder abuse, grand theft, and fraud. Melissa gets 6 years. Kyle, being younger and slightly less involved, receives 4 years. But Judge Wong makes it clear that their sentences reflect the severity of their crimes. "You didn't just steal money," she tells them at sentencing. "You stole an elderly woman's peace of mind, her sense of safety, and her trust in family. Your actions were calculated, cruel, and unforgivable." But the criminal trial is just the beginning. The real justice comes in civil court, where I sue them for emotional distress, theft, and punitive damages. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Rebecca Torres, presents a compelling case for maximum damages. The defendants didn't just commit crimes, she argues. They systematically destroyed the final years of an elderly woman's life, turning what should have been a peaceful retirement into a nightmare of confusion and fear. The civil jury awards me $2.3 million in damages, money they don't have and will be paying back for the rest of their lives. Their assets are seized, their bank accounts frozen, and liens placed on any property they might acquire in the future. 6 months later, I stand in Grandma Rose's fully restored house, surrounded by all her precious belongings. The dining room table once again holds the antique china set that had been in our family for 4 generations. The living room glows with the warmth of her Persian rugs. Family photographs line the mantelpiece, real family photos of Grandma Rose and me through the years. I've quit my job at the Social Services Office and started my own nonprofit organization using part of Grandma Rose's inheritance. It's called the Rose Sullivan Foundation, and it provides legal assistance and support to families dealing with elder abuse. We help victims document evidence, connect with law enforcement, and navigate the legal system. The foundation operates out of a suite of offices downtown, but I do most of my work from Grandma Rose's house. It feels right, using her home as a base for protecting other elderly people from predators like Richard and his children. A knock at the door interrupts my thoughts. I open it to find a woman about my age, tears in her eyes and a manila folder clutched in her hands. "Are you Emma Sullivan?" she asks. "I saw your story in the newspaper. I think my stepfather is doing the same thing to my grandmother." I invite her in, offering her tea in Grandma Rose's favorite china cups. Her name is Maria, and her story is heartbreakingly familiar. An elderly grandmother showing signs of confusion, a stepfather who's suddenly very interested in managing her finances, missing jewelry, and suspicious bank withdrawals. "Tell me everything," I say, pulling out a legal pad and settling into my chair. As Maria talks, I think about Grandma Rose's final letter. "Fight for what's yours, Emma. You're stronger than they know." She was right. I am stronger than they knew, stronger than I knew. And now I use that strength to protect others, just as she protected me. Over the next few hours, I help Maria develop a plan to document her grandmother's situation and connect with law enforcement. I give her resources, contact information for sympathetic doctors and lawyers, and most importantly, the knowledge that she's not alone. "Your grandmother is lucky to have you," I tell her, as she prepares to leave. "I hope I can be half as brave as you were," she replies. "You already are. The fact that you're here, that you're fighting for her that takes incredible courage. After she leaves, I walk through the house one more time. In the kitchen, I can almost hear Grandma Rose's laughter as she taught me to make pie crust. In the living room, I can see her in her favorite chair, reading glasses perched on her nose as she worked on crossword puzzles. The house fills with purpose as I help another family fight back against the predators who prey on the vulnerable. Outside, Grandma Rose's garden blooms in the spring sunshine, tended now by loving hands instead of being neglected by those who saw only dollar signs. I've hired a gardener to help maintain the extensive flower beds, but I still do most of the work myself. There's something therapeutic about working with my hands, about nurturing something beautiful and watching it grow. That evening, I receive a call from Detective Morrison. "Thought you'd want to know," she says. "Richard tried to appeal his sentence. The appeal was denied. He'll serve every day of his 8 years. "Good," I reply. "What about the others?" "Melissa is not adjusting well to prison life. Apparently, she's been complaining about the food, the uniforms, the lack of beauty products. Kyle's been placed in protective custody after getting into a fight with another inmate over gambling debts. I feel no satisfaction in their suffering, but I do feel a sense of justice. They made choices, and now they're living with the consequences." A year later, the Rose Sullivan Foundation has helped prosecute 12 cases of elder abuse and recovered over $3 million in stolen assets. We've also lobbied for stronger laws protecting elderly people from financial exploitation and supported legislation requiring better oversight of caregivers and family members with power of attorney. I've spoken at conferences across the country, sharing Grandma Rose's story and the methods she used to protect herself. The response has been overwhelming: law enforcement agencies wanting training on how to recognize systematic elder abuse, families seeking advice on protecting vulnerable relatives, and other abuse survivors wanting to share their stories. But the most meaningful response came from an unexpected source. I received a letter from a woman in Florida whose grandmother had been victimized by similar family members. She'd used Grandma Rose's methods: hidden cameras, secret recordings, careful documentation to expose the abuse and recover her grandmother's stolen assets. "Your grandmother's courage saved my grandmother," she wrote. "I hope someday I can help someone else the way you helped me." That's when I realized that Grandma Rose's legacy isn't just the money she left me or the house I inherited. It's the example she set of fighting back against cruelty and injustice, even when you're at your most vulnerable. Some people inherit money, others inherit wisdom. I inherited both, and the knowledge that sometimes the greatest gift isn't what's left to you, but the strength to fight for it. As I sit in Grandma Rose's garden on a warm summer evening, reading letters from people the foundation has helped, I raise my teacup in a silent toast. "We won, Grandma Rose," I whisper to the roses blooming around me. "We won, and we're still winning." The sun sets through the lace curtains she made by hand 40 years ago, painting the house in golden light. Somewhere in the distance, I can almost hear her voice. "That's my girl. That's my strong, brave girl." And for the first time since she died, I feel truly at peace.